Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can discover and master this amazing deck. Welcome to April. We are doing our monthly forecast today, and as usual, we are starting with you, Aries. We have your 3 cards from the Astro Clock, and then we're going to draw the 9 cards for the portrait, and today we're using the Tarot Lenormand. So let's get into your cards, Aries. We have the Fox, Key, and Child for April, and these are really nice cards because they point to a new opportunity, a new beginning, and it could be something that works out really well for you and it's very well aligned with your strategy. I think there's also the advice for you to take that step. So have a plan and move forward. The Fox can also be a card of work and employment, so this could be a new job. Otherwise, the Fox is really good with having a good plan and a really great strategy. So it sounds like you're going to be able to find your way around this in order to open up the opportunity that you're after. It looks like you're quite clever and you know what you're doing. So we're going to set these cards aside and we're going to draw your portrait cards, this time with the Tarot Lenormand. Let's see what else we get about these 3 and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Aries, here is your portrait. And there's lots of bright cards. We have the beautiful Star and Sun. By themselves, these 2 are very positive cards, 2 of the brightest. On top of this, we have the Ship, Anchor, and House, which tend to be positive in their own right as well. And we do have the Coffin with the Road, which is a clear confirmation of this new beginning because the Coffin and Road point to the end of the road. And with the Sun, it's a wonderful message for making a change. So it's a bit like we have the Key with the Child, which encourages this new beginning. We have the Sun with the Coffin and Road, which encourage this ending. In the center, we have the Bear, which is a card of strength and power. So it sounds like this month is going to be focused on growing and becoming stronger. You could be taking on more responsibilities or stepping up to some of your bigger goals. And with the Ship and Road on either side of the Bear, you could be going for a major trip, or you could be making some pretty deep changes, and it could be a significant step that you're taking. The Ship is your cover card, Aries, so it really encourages you to take that initiative, to be adventurous, and to move ahead with these changes, this ending, this beginning, and this adventure that it looks like you're going on. The Lily and Sun on either side of the Bear, these are lovely cards across the board. The Lily is a card of life path and career, and it's also a card of wisdom and maturity. And with the Bear, I really get that impression that you're moving up, you're growing, and you're becoming more empowered. And the Sun is a very bright card, so it certainly supports this. And they're also a great card for achieving goals and feeling fulfilled and like really being aligned with your life and your ambitions. The Ship with the Star and Sun, this is just beautiful with both the Star and Sun together. Wish fulfillment, healing, all good things. And the Ship is lovely for pursuing this, or maybe this journey materializes for you and you're able to achieve your goals as well. Here's another clear confirmation of an ending. We have the Anchor, Bear, and Coffin. Whether it's the Bear and Coffin or the Anchor and Coffin, the 2 pairs point to closing something off. So when we have both of them, it's like a double power. There's like a double certainty here, encouraging you to close the page. And a T crosses the right side column, which we read as this wonderful ending. The Lily with the House and Road, these could be about moving. Possibly you are moving. You are moving homes or moving away from certain environments, leaving, making changes to your life and lifestyle. These are all wonderful possibilities. And in terms of your personal growth, I really think this is about finding your ground or building on top of your foundations. So there are deeper changes probably at play for you this month, Aries. The Ship with the Anchor and Lily is great for arriving at the right lifestyle, the right foundation for you. And you could also be moving, like we said. So you could be relocating or you could be making deeper changes in your life. And here's another lovely line with the star, bear, and house. This is great for growth, promotions, feeling empowered, and also having a really solid foundation. And on top of this, they're great cards for feeling like you're confident and you know what you're doing. So these are really nice cards. And although Aries, there could be a lot of things happening in your physical life, like moving, going places, ending projects, things like that. I really feel that there's a strong inner spiritual element at play that has to do with a sense of growth and empowerment, and knowing where you stand and knowing what you care about, what you're going to invest yourself in. So I feel there's that strong sense of growth and positive evolution. And in terms of context, the cards could affect your life in general, mainly because the lily affects your life in general. I feel that it's the likely interpretation, but the cards can also apply in a more specific area of your life. The fox suggested jobs. It doesn't have to, but it can. So you could be looking at a job change and moving into a more fulfilling role. You could also be making changes in other practical areas of your life, whatever your main activity is. There is, regardless of what you're invested in on a day-to-day basis in your life in general, these are great cards for making deep and positive changes and empowering yourself through that sense of growth. So really nice cards. I hope you enjoy that new beginning and you embrace it, Aries. Let me know if you do. And let me know if this affects your life in general or maybe some specific aspect of it. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. So very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Taurus, welcome to your April forecast. We have your April cards from your Astro Clock. These are the Sun, Book, and Fish. And these are really bright cards for an offer of business, of work, or good things happening for you financially. The book can sometimes point to things like bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, and things like that. The details that tend to be associated with money. And so with the Sun, there could be some really good outcomes in these procedures or whatever it is you're focused on specifically. And more broadly speaking, the cards can point to some really good news with some fine advantages. And the book with the Sun can mean that there are revelations or things come to light. The Fish is normally about money, so it's likely that it's in this area, but generally speaking, these are lovely cards for prosperity and well-being in general. So with these cards aside, let's go ahead and draw your portrait, see what else we get about them, and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Taurus, here is your portrait, and we have the Sun again, which is lovely. It matches the Sun we see in your Astro Clock card, so there's like a double happiness here. And we have the lovely Key, which is also a very bright card. Now, what stands out to me in this portrait is the ending that we see with the coffin in different combinations, and especially here with the mountain, clouds, and coffin. So I think that here you're able to move past obstacles because the clouds is a card of confusion and the mountain can represent obstacles, especially with more challenging cards. We also see it with the mouse earlier at the top, and we see the coffin in this diagonal as well. So it's pretty clear, Taurus, that something is going to come to a close, but what I also feel is happening is that you could close off some opportunity or let go of some opportunity, cancel plans or postpone plans, because right now you have this wonderful thing materializing for you financially. So I feel that with this lovely event or opportunity materializing for you, you can let go of other possibilities that you had going for you. Now the mouse with the bear and coffin can be a little bit challenging. The mouse can be about losses and stress, and the bear can aggravate this a little bit. But with the bear and coffin together, it also encourages you to bring things to a close and to really be strong about this. So you have to draw a line. Anything that's wasting your time or your energy, you have to close it off. The Sun with the bear and mountain, on the other hand, is lovely This is great for a vacation or having a base abroad, but it's also wonderful for you to achieve your goals and to climb that mountain, as it were. So I think you're going to feel really enthusiastic this month, and you're going to be able to bring back that energy of yours, especially if you're able to let go of other things that could have been distracting you or maybe holding you back. The mouse with the garden and mountain can represent a location or a community abroad. And with the mouse here, you could have some doubts, or you could be feeling like you're not in the mood of participating. It could be abroad. It could also be online. And so I feel that that's the kind of thing, Taurus, that you want to move on from. So if you're not really enthusiastic about certain people, certain places, certain activities, then just move on from them. And I think as soon as you do, you'll find that you're lighter and you're more enthusiastic and you're happier pursuing the more important things in your life. The fox, bear, and clouds is similar, because here we have the fox, which is tricky. It tends to represent someone who's deceptive, selfish, self-interested types. And the bear can represent another person or the same person. And I feel here that it could be someone who feels overbearing, maybe even intimidating, and someone you don't want to deal with. And so the fox can actually represent you and come to your advantage and encourage you to just move away. The fox is also clever in terms of being strategic and diplomatic. So we're not seeing confrontational cards or aggressive cards. We are seeing the need for you to make up your mind and to move on from things that drain you. And here's a really nice confirmation. We have the sun, key, and coffin, and this is very much about closing something off. And with the sun, it's a wonderful opportunity to wrap things up. It can also mean that you successfully complete a project and now you can move on to something else. And again, that idea of relieving yourself from responsibilities, commitments, or people, places that you're not really invested in. So get that weight off your shoulders. The mouse with the fox and sun really adds to this, because it tells us that you had been feeling drained and discouraged maybe, or you're just tired of having to deal with these people or the situation. And now I think you have a clear mind about what you're going to do and that you're going to move on. And that by itself really inspires you. And the garden with the bear and key is lovely for important people that you meet, and probably people that offer you an opportunity, which is very well captured by the Astro Clock cards. And we see this tying into the bottom row. So again, it sounds like with this opportunity, you can now move on from a situation or an environment that I think you're tired of, Taurus. You could be bored of it. And so this is a welcome change. So these are some really exciting cards, Taurus. I think, though, they demand some effort on your part. You need to be willing to draw a line with what isn't working for you. And you also might want to make an effort to connect with people who could support you make that change. And once you're ready, you want to move on. In terms of context, I feel the cards are mostly about your work, money, business, some practical side of your life. We have the fish in the Astro Clock cards, the fox in here, and the rest of the cards, they don't really bring up romance or feelings. So I think the changes are focused on the practical side of your life, whatever your projects or your day-to-day activity looks like. And I also want to suggest, Taurus, that you move away from lending, borrowing, investing too quickly. I think it's going to be important to weigh the options and to get into the details before you do anything with your money, even though you are definitely on the right track now for a positive change. And in case you're looking for travel, you could be happy with this. It can work out. You could find that the place you connect with is supportive. So there's a few different possibilities here, Taurus. They're all quite good. They're all quite positive. The focus is really on wrapping things up and being willing to let go of what isn't working for you. So if you're willing to put in that work, I think you'll find that you attract all of that good stuff as well. Let me know what you make of this, Taurus. Let me know in what context these cards played out for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your April forecast. We have your 3 cards from your astro clock. This is the letter, the snake, and the cross. This is a pretty straightforward message, Gemini. You could get some news or an offer that you're going to turn down or walk away from. And it could also be a message to handle carefully and discreetly. The cross can point to a decision, but it certainly calls on you to weigh things out. And the snake clearly calls on you to at least give it time before you respond or before you do anything about it. So the idea here is really to focus on thinking about this. But I think the bottom line is that you're going to move away from it because it doesn't look good. It could also mean that you hear some insider information. And again, it's clear that you need to handle this carefully. So let's put these cards aside and let's draw your portrait cards. We've got the Tarot Lenormand deck today. Let's see what else we get about these 3 and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Gemini, here is your portrait and it's clearly aligned with your astro cards. We have the snake in the middle, like we have it in the astro clock cards. So another clear message to move away from something and also to maintain a lot of discretion. So we have the ship and ring on either side of the snake in the first diagonal. And the ship and snake is about this indirect path, but the snake with the ring is about a relationship that is not great. It can also refer to something going on behind the scenes. And like we suggested earlier, this idea of walking away from it. The fact that we have the child here confirms this because it's a turning away. The ring and snake can also warn you against something like cheating or dishonest people. In terms of love relationships, the snake is often a cheating situation or a third party. So it can apply in different contexts, and the specific context will probably depend on you. Let's gather more information from this portrait, and then we'll put it all together. The tree with the snake and flowers, though, is lovely. I know the snake can be generally negative, but with the tree, it's a card of wisdom. With the flowers, it normally is someone who's false to your face, and I do think there is such a possibility here. But the fact that we have the tree earlier, it suggests that you're the one who needs to keep a nice diplomatic face and to maintain that sense of evenness in your relationships. So you don't show what you're up to, you don't share what you're up to, and also you're probably going to move on in a positive direction. The ship with the stork and flowers is another clear confirmation of this. The stork is a card of change and moves, and with the ship, it can represent a long haul trip or a move, like moving countries, moving places. Now, personally, I like more cards to confirm this, but certainly with the flowers, there's a positive change. I also think there's a feel for like a release or a liberation. And I think it definitely comes from moving away from this relationship or moving in a different direction. The star and child on either side of the snake in the middle row very much confirms this. The star is one of the brightest cards of the deck. This is a wonderful message, and the child is about a new beginning. So you're definitely turning away and moving in a different direction, Gemini, which is definitely what's called for. The tree with the bird and ring is really positive for a relationship. And here we're seeing good conversations, good negotiations. There's a positive evolution with the tree and bird. And I want to tie it into the right-hand side column because we have the flowers, child, and ring. And this clearly points to a new relationship or a new direction. So what's clear to me is that you're going to turn something down and move in a different direction. So you could be faced with choice, which is what the cross is about. And it's clear to me, Gemini, that you're going to make the right choice. The ship with the star and tree is beautiful. This is a lovely combination for growth and success, for achieving your goals, going after your goals. And the stork with the snake and bird is another clear suggestion of a change and a moving away. What I also feel comes through the snake and stork is that you're shaking something off. It can mean shedding skin, like in a deeper spiritual way, but I also think it's shaking something off your back and enjoying a change. And these cards tie together with the top and bottom row through the middle column, and we can see this story building up quite nicely. We have the flowers, which is a beautiful card, the tree, which is lovely, and the star and ship are also beautiful cards. So it's clear that the idea, Gemini, is that something that isn't right for you, you're going to move away from. It could be disappointing, or it could be more on the neutral side, but on the back of it, you're turning away in a new direction and embracing something much more exciting for yourself. So probably turn something down or walk away from it and refocus on what matters to you more. And so I think this is where there's a lot of good potential for you to really focus on things that make you happy and your priorities. Now, in terms of personal relationships, the cards with the snake can always be a little bit more difficult because it has that dishonesty aspect. So it could be a bit more difficult in relationships, but I have to say, Gemini, that even then, the cards around the snake are mostly so bright that you're very likely to just enjoy the change, and you could even feel relieved that you're walking away from this, or at least adjusting the relationship. One more thing I can suggest is the ship, stork, and bird can point to travel. So maybe you're getting away, going somewhere fun for yourself. And if you're up for that, Gemini, then this too could be good advice and encouraged. So really nice cards, and I would say just take it easy. There's no need to make a fuss out of anything. It sounds like you're already redirected. You already know where you're heading. So honor that direction, Gemini, and just move on from, what isn't working for you. And it sounds like you also redirect pretty quickly. So really nice cards. Let me know what you make of this. I hope it resonates with you in this positive way. Leave me a comment or two. I love to read your thoughts. Best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in April, and I have your April cards from your Astro Clock. These are the star, the letter, and the mouse. Now, the star is really bright, but the mouse is not so positive. It's not very negative. It's a little bit challenging, and it usually points to little problems here and there. It has a warning and a generally good advice to take care of things while they are small and manageable so that they don't grow out of proportion. Now, we've got the letter in between, so this can point to some really good news, but also that you need to adjust to, or that it can stress you out. And it's also possible that the news is not as bright as you would have hoped for. Now, the context is not clear from just 3 cards, so we're gonna put these cards aside, and we're gonna draw your 9-card portrait to see what else we get about these 3 and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Cancer, here is your portrait, and I have to say I'm seeing this with a few signs already. There are changes, there are new beginnings, and in your case, we're seeing this very clearly as well, Cancer. So we have the tree as your cover card, which is lovely for being strong and stable. And then we have the road and whip. This is definitely a change of direction or turning something down. And actually, this would work well here. The mouse can mean that you say no, and the star suggests that you are in a position to say no. So you want to follow what is good for you, what is aligned with you, what aligns with your goals. And if this news, invitation, offer, or information is not suited to you, then you're going to say no. So we see this very clearly here with the road and whip suggesting the idea of turning something down. The rider with the road and fox is similar, because the fox is, it can be a deceptive card, but I think in this case, it's more about you being self-interested. And with the rider and road being a card of movement, you want to make sure that you're heading in the right direction for you. So if something isn't aligned with you, you're going to say no. In the very least, Cancer, assess the situation carefully and make sure you get into the details. The tree with the bird and fox is great for negotiating. I think you might want to give it a try. You might want to get some feedback or dig in more deeply, clarify certain matters. And maybe you need to do that before you finalize your decision. The Tower with the Road and Woman can be someone whom you know from a past chapter. She could also be someone expert or specialized that you consult. Maybe you need some feedback or maybe you need that input from her. The Rider with the Child and Whip is clearly about a new direction. So this is about making changes, but I also think, Cancer, that you want to make sure you're ready for the change. If it's a little bit premature right now, you could run into some trouble. And also, if you have choices, which I think you do, you're going to turn something down and go for something different. So I feel it can be a little bit busy this month where you have quite a few decisions. You have to consult, you have to negotiate, you have to get answers, and you have to make decisions and possibly also sacrificing some things to a certain extent, but really being clear about your preference and what's aligned with you by getting that information and taking some time. The Tree, Tower, and Rider are great for progress and going after your bigger goals. I want to emphasize with this line, Cancer, that you focus on the longer term goals. So the way to assess, to evaluate, and make a decision is to put everything in the perspective of your longer term goals. So don't lose sight of that. And maybe it's also an opportunity to clarify what these longer term goals and your vision is. Here's a very clear line of moving into a new direction with the Bird, Road, and Child. The Child is about the new and the Road is a new path. And the Bird is exciting. And it is a card of communication. So maybe you get the green light like we do with the letter, but it can also keep you busy. And the Fox with the Woman and Whip can be an issue with someone. So the woman represents a person and the Fox can mean that, you know, she's a bit difficult to deal with or that you need to manage the relationship carefully. But I have to say the Whip is really not so careful in the way the Fox and the Snake are. You know, these are calm and strategic and diplomatic cards. The Whip is louder, more aggressive and stronger. So I think it's pretty clear that you're going to turn something down, turn someone down, say no, turn down this offer and move in a different direction. Again, I feel that you have choice and the focus for you this month is to evaluate your choices well, to make the decision that you need to make and move on. And yes, in the process, when you make a choice and you turn someone or something down, it could cause upsets. So prepare for that. But also, I think beyond this month, Cancer, you don't want to spend more time making the decision beyond this month. You could be called to be more active and to draw a line at some point. So again, I feel that it's pretty busy for you this month. I think that you're going to be busy thinking through this, gathering information, weighing things out, dealing with people, and moving on into this new direction. So I feel it could be quite loaded. Now, in terms of context, I feel it could go in different contexts. It could work out. It could be about relationships where you let go of certain people, even personal. It could be job-wise where you change jobs because the Fox and Tower can very much align with that. It could be moves or changes or decluttering. You know, it's like you're shuffling things around, letting go of this, keeping that, not going for this, going for that, and so on. And this could apply equally well in different contexts because the cards are flexible. So let me know what you make of this, Cancer. Let me know if you had choice, and hopefully you did, and if it was difficult to make these choices and if it was difficult to deal with people in the process. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in April, and I have your April cards from your Astro Clock. This is the Man, Tree, and Cross. And this is a pretty neutral triplet. The Tree is on the more positive side. It has that peaceful well-being element. And the cross can be challenging. It can be a card of difficulty and burdens, but with the tree, I think it's more about taking a step back and thinking things through. And the cross can also suggest some kind of choice or a decision. And with the man, it relates to a person. Now, at the same time, or alternatively, you could be waiting on this man to come through. So maybe there's a decision in his hands and you're waiting for this person to come through. If that's the case, it's definitely a good idea, Leo, to allow for things to unfold on their own time. The tree is very peaceful and it's kind of passive, so there's no need to stress that person or to follow through. And the same applies to you, you know, so it's a good time to take it easy and to allow things to unfold with this person. And when we draw your portrait cards here, we've got the Tarot Lenormand deck today. We are going to see if it tells us in what context or what's the reason for, you know, taking your time and what you have with this person. So hopefully that also tells us who this person is. So let's go ahead and deal out your portrait. Okay, Leo, here is your portrait, and it's very bright. We have the lovely flowers, especially on this side of the layout, is great for positive outcomes. There are a lot of neutral cards, but the way they work together is exciting, and it brings good progress. We have the bear in the middle, which suggests something significant and important. And as your cover card, we have the moon, which can be a card of invitations or appreciations, but it also has that more passive element, and it has that attraction element. So when we look at the moon, bear, and garden, this could be an important invitation. You could be meeting with someone important. It could be an important event. So you want to be ready for it and you want to be up for it. The bird and dog on either side of the bear is nice because it suggests a conversation with someone important and possibly also a friendship developing. So these are nice cards for someone supportive. At the top, we have the moon, stork, and dog, and this points to an invitation or some activity that you do with this person. And with the fox, bear, and flowers, it's also looking bright, even though the fox can be a bit more careful and more cautious. Sometimes it points to deception, but I have to say, Leo, that in the context of these cards, the fox is more neutral and it just points to being smart and clever. And it can also be a reference to jobs. And I also feel that it works well with the energy of the tree in this context. Because it is calm and quiet and silent, it has that waiting energy in this context. So with the bear and flowers, we see that this person comes back and comes through. So just take it easy, and like we said, give it time, and this person is going to come through. And then we have the lovely bird, fish, and garden. This is a great combination for a number of things. One of them is shopping and buying things. Maybe you're doing this this month. But in terms of an offer or a collaboration or working with other people, this could be quite an opportunity to get involved. So that could be nice. You could also be looking at things you're doing with your money, and maybe this person is coming to help with that. It depends on how the money element and the person specifically operate in your life. But these are quite abundant, I have to say. Now, the moon with the fox and bird is an offer. I'm not going to say that you turn it down outright because the fox can sometimes suggest that. I'm more inclined to think that you negotiate because of the bird. And so I feel this is why there's a garden here, because there's a meeting. So you could get together to discuss this or talk through it, whether it's in person or not. The stork with the bear and fish, I have to say this is great for income. And this could be quite a lot of income because the bear and fish is often a combination of wealth. And with the stork, we see things picking up. And when we tie the top row with the bottom row through the middle column, it sounds like either you get a job or you get an offer or you get a customer or business opportunity, or you're able to take some important steps with your money. So these are really nice cards. And the dog with the flowers and garden is lovely for getting together. This would point to a really enjoyable time and even fun times and celebrations with this person. So fun times and celebrations are not the usual thing we associate with finances, money, and business, but it could be really fun in this way. And otherwise, it's looking really productive. So these are really great cards for working with people, working with this person, moving forward. They're great for your money and finances, for opportunities or job offers, business offers, clients, customers, collaborators, or people who support you with your goals. So the idea between the portrait and the astro clock cards is that this person is maybe taking their time, and maybe you are as well, and things are unfolding. And again, it's a good idea to let it go, and it's going to come in its own time. And when it does, it looks like it's going to be quite productive and active and fun. So really nice cards across the board, Leo. Again, great for productivity, creativity, collaboration with others. Great for, I can also add a promotion. You know, you could get an increase of sorts, more responsibilities and more money. And so it's looking really, really nice and productive. So again, give it time, and then when it comes, negotiate or have that conversation, and then move forward with it because it sounds really fun and active. Now, in terms of a personal relationship, because we might also be able to put the cards in that context, whether it's for you specifically or based on the cards look good. There is a focus on a friendship, and maybe that's what you're after, but there's also a lot of fun, maybe flirting. And I think also quite a lot of attraction, because we have the fish with the flowers and the moon. And they have an attraction, physical character to them when it comes to relationships. So really nice cards across different contexts and clearly focused on a person or some people. Let me know what you make of this, Leo. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your monthly forecast. I have your April cards, as we are doing April today, and they are the ship, dog, and cross. They're more on the neutral side, but the ship can be positive a lot of the time. And it's a card for travel, or it could be a card for adventures and ventures. And with the cross and dog, it sounds like it's an important journey with a friend or with a friend, or perhaps you're collaborating with someone and pursuing certain objectives with them. I have to say that the cross can be sometimes a bit difficult, so maybe this person is a little bit heavy, and that's part of the package. But from these cards, I'm not really seeing any challenges. It sounds like you have to take on this journey with this person, or you have to explore what's ahead, and we'll see what comes out of it. So we'll put these cards aside, and we're going to draw your portrait and see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Virgo, here is your portrait. And as you can see, we have the dog again in the center, which is really nice for alignment with the Astro Clock cards, really focusing on this person. And the rest of the cards are really bright. We have the key and sun. They work really well together. And these cards in different combinations, they brighten up everything else. We have here the clouds as your cover card. So this can mean that maybe you have some doubts about this person. And I feel this aligns well with the cross and the message of the cross, that maybe, you're wondering if you go for it or not. And this portrait clarifies very, very much that it's looking really good and there's really good potential with this person, friendship, collaboration, or whatever is exactly your relationship with them. So the dog and key is great for success and answers. It's possible that this person offers you feedback or opens opportunities or opens doors. So it's in any context, it's a really bright combination. And with the sun on the other side of the dog, it's another confirmation of that. So a really nice connection. The bear earlier can mean that this is someone older, bigger, more important, more influential. And it can also mean that this is an important relationship. So really nice cards for this connection. Now the clouds with the garden and sun is also lovely. As you can see, the sun clarifies the clouds. If we had the clouds after the sun, it can mean that it's a bit gray. But with the sun after the clouds, it clarifies your doubts, clarifies everything. And the garden is a card of community and meeting places. So it's likely that you get together with this person. and you have a really good time as well. I also feel that it could be an opportunity, and we see this with a number of other lines. So the fish, dog, and letter can be a customer, it can be a business offer, it could be someone who helps you with finances, and there's some really good news that comes through, especially because we have the sun and key on either side of the letter. So this is beautiful, really. It's an acceptance, positive feedback. It's the opportunity that you're after, the green light that you want. It definitely comes through with the help of this person. The bear with the lily and key is lovely for a number of things. The lily can represent your life as a whole, and it can also represent your career, possibly also your health. And with the bear and key, it's clear that you're in for an important phase, an important career direction. And I think there's overall empowerment and promotion, whether that's at work or not. There's a sense of improvement and stepping up, and the key opens doors. So really nice cards. The clouds with the fish and bear, this can be a reference to expenses and maybe major expenses. I would say think carefully about these, Virgo. If you have expenses, I would say see if you can manage them more carefully. But otherwise, and in keeping with the rest of the portrait, you could be considering an offer or a business offer or some kind of collaboration or help or support with your finances. And so you need to work through this. In all probability, this person comes through. The dog with between the garden and lily. This is great for learning and growth, and it's great for lining yourself up for a promotion or for improvements. You could be getting into a field or in a direction where you are growing, and otherwise it's a really good combination for meeting with others. I feel that the bear and lily could highlight someone more senior. And so this could be someone like a supporter, a mentor, someone you look up to, or someone who's specialized. And meeting with them is really going to help you with your own opportunities or with the answers that you're after. And as we saw, the sun and key on either side of the letter bring some wonderful news. So it's pretty clear that you're going to get some very good information, some very positive feedback, some very helpful insights through this person. And this could affect different areas of your life or one of them specifically. So in terms of context, these are great cards for a job offer, a business offer, a customer, a promotion, everything on the job or work-wise, whether you work for yourself or you're employed or you do projects or you freelance. There's lots of great messages here. In terms of the support you get from others, whether it's to manage your finances or other things, there's also really helpful news and certainly answers, really clarifying anything on your mind. In terms of personal relationships, the cards are also lovely. They point to a wonderful connection and probably invitations and get-togethers that look fun. So really, Virgo, in any context, the cards are great. The focus is on people and friends and colleagues, peers, anyone supportive like that, and the collaboration or the exchanges you have with that person. So focus on this month until you get to the bottom of it. Let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Monthly forecast. Here we are in April, and I have your April cards from your astro clock. We have the star, sun, and bird, and these are very bright cards. The star and sun are two of the most positive in the deck. And so they deliver all good things, wish fulfillment, happiness, healing, success. Across the board, really, they're just very generally positive. And the bird is often a card of news and communication, so it points to a very positive conversation, some very good news, probably the green light, and also some excitement and being busy. So the cards are quite general in this sense. We're going to draw your portrait cards to see what else we get about these three, and what other messages we get for your month. So let's go ahead and deal out your portrait. Okay, Libra, here is your portrait, and notice that we have both the sun and star figuring in your cards, and on top of this we have the bird. So all three cards from your astro clock figure in your portrait, which is very tight alignment between the two sets of cards. Now what's curious is that in your portrait we have the mouse in the middle, and the mouse is a little bit negative. Now, obviously, with these very beautiful cards around, it's going to suggest that whatever doubts or issues or little problems that you bump into, you're going to be able to overcome them. And something else that comes through clearly in your portrait is the presence of people. We have both the dog and man, and both cards represent people, friends, usually someone significant with the man. So with the ship as your cover card, you're in for ventures and excitement. It sounds like you have a lot of energy and momentum this year, or this month, I should say. And with the mouse and flowers, you're able to overcome any challenges in your journey or the little bumps that you go through. So this is definitely a message, Libra, to stay focused and not to be discouraged in any way from any of these bumps that you come across. So put them in their right position, size them down. They're not issues. You've got everything it takes to overcome them. With the dog, mouse, and book, this can mean that there are some mysteries or question marks that you might have about a person. And clearly with these lovely cards, especially the astro clock cards, any of your doubts or any of the missing information or question marks that you have are going to be resolved. The ship with the sun and book is very beautiful, and it actually confirms this because the sun with the book is very much about enlightenment and getting wonderful information and understanding. And with the ship here, it can mean that you pursue some research or you dig into the situation a little bit, and you'll find that you come out with wonderful answers. Now, the star with the mouse and man suggests very good things with this person. There can be little issues or little doubts that you have about them. But again, as we see in many combinations, really, all of these are resolved. The dog with the bird and flowers is lovely for a very positive conversation. You could be busy with people or this person, going places, definitely having a conversation. And it can also point to this good news that we see in the astro clock cards as well. Same here with the ship, star, and dog. These are wonderful activities and events with this person. There's a really good vibe between the two of you. The sun with the mouse and bird is great for clarifying any doubts, any question marks. Don't hold back. Libra, it's very clear that a conversation is going to be key for everything, for the good stuff, for clarifying the doubts, for moving forward. And with the book, man, and flowers, another wonderful triplet here suggesting positive things materializing. If this person had been a bit reserved or not clear or not coming through, these cards definitely help resolve the distance, close the gaps, and clarify any of the question marks that you might have or that they may have as well. So these are some really nice cards. They're great for this connection. They're great for a positive conversation, communication, vibe between you and this person. Wonderful for clarifying any doubts, overcoming any bumps, and really pursuing this happy vibe for yourself and also in this relationship. Now, in terms of context, Libra, the cards can apply in different contexts. Yes, this is about people and friends, but we do have people in every area of life. So it could be people at work, people in your personal life, people at home, family, or in some other area of your life. So the cards are the same in any context. They reflect a really good vibe and a really good connection. And in any context, they also call for a productive conversation to clarify any of the doubts. So really, really nice cards that materialize across different contexts in an equally positive way. I just want to suggest that in terms of personal relationships, the cards could be focused on friendship, but also there could be some flirting if it applies. And in work context, for example, or those more practical areas of life, they certainly point to very good communication, opportunity, resolving any doubts. Great time also for creativity and collaboration with others. So any way you look at these cards, Libra, they deliver wonderful news, really good vibes with a person, and any issues that you might face, whether within you with doubts or in your environment, in this situation, they are easily resolved. Just take the trouble to be in communication and you'll find that this channel opens up in really positive ways. I certainly hope you resonate with these cards so positively. Let me know in the comments, Libra, how you resonated with them. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in April, and I have your April cards from your astro clock. These are the Coffin, Cross, and Woman, and they are a little bit on the heavier side, Scorpio. The Coffin is often a card of endings. The Cross can suggest something that weighs on you, sometimes even an obstacle, and the Woman represents a person. So when we have the Coffin and Cross together with this person, it can mean couple of possibilities. It can mean that a relationship ends, or perhaps you create some space between you and the other person. And it can also mean that this person is dealing with some difficult things and maybe you're not sure how to reach out to this person. But I think the main takeaway from this is that there's going to be some space between you and this person and that there's a good reason for it. So we're going to put these cards aside and we're going to draw your portrait cards to see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Scorpio, here is your portrait. And as you can see, we have the man card, which is very similar to the woman card. They're essentially the same. They represent people. We do have the whip in the middle, which highlights challenges. And so this aligns with the cross and the heaviness of the cross and the triplet from the astro clock. At the same time, we have some really bright cards, the clover and sun, as well as the flowers. There are three very happy, bubbly, bright cards. So this tells us that the challenges that you face are going to be overcome. But there is like something that needs to come out because the whip is kind of aggressive and it's outward, whereas the coffin and cross are more inward. And I feel that you have to get past this stuckness and bring things out into the open. And when they are out into the open, there's like this clarifying energy that comes with the sun and clover. The Rider is your cover card. This is great for taking initiative. So it seems to me, Scorpio, that it's a good idea for you to do what it takes to bring things out and discuss them or clear them up. And it can also mean being a little bit confrontational, so shaking the cage a little bit with the Rider and Whip. And as we see here with the beautiful sun, there is a healing and lovely clearing energy that opens up this space and clarifies everything. And also it is a card of resolution. The Lily and Whip can suggest challenges like bad health. And I think with the coffin and cross, this could be an issue as well. So maybe there are those sorts of challenges. But of course, it doesn't have to be the case. It can mean other sorts of challenges. With the Lily, it can be about work, career, but I think it affects your life more generally. So there's a sense of unease that needs to be brought out and resolved. And obviously with the beautiful clover here, it is resolved just like we saw with the sun. The Rider with the man and clover is lovely for a connection. These are great cards for getting along with this person, reaching out to them, having a really good connection. So I think that when you take the initiative to reach out to this person, it's going to be really positive, and I think you might be pleasantly surprised. The Letter with the Whip and Tower, this can be some challenging news and it can affect different areas of your life. The Tower can be a card of the past, but it can also be a card of formal environments, maybe something procedural. I feel that if this is about administration or something like an application or these sorts of processes, there could be, it could be refused. It doesn't work out like you hope it would. So this can be some challenging news. The Lily with the flowers and sun is lovely though. This is beautiful energy of healing and success across the board. So I think you're going to overcome this pretty quickly. Maybe this challenging news here is connected with this relationship issue. And again, when you bring things out into the open, they are clarified. So it can mean a few different things. The Rider and Letter is clearly about news, and the Lily, this can affect your life, your work, your health, different areas of your life, but I think it affects it generally. The man with the whip and flowers is another beautiful message of overcoming the challenges. We saw the whip and sun, the whip and clover, and the whip and flowers. So these are really nice cards that help overcome the challenges of the whip. It's really just the tower where it's neutral and it doesn't help overcome the whip. And here's another lovely line that brings together the clover and sun with the tower. This is beautiful for long-term healing and success. And the challenges that we saw earlier are actually resolved. So it's great that we see this working out. So we can tie these lines together, this H that we see in the portrait. You're pursuing this news or this procedure or this contact with this person. There are challenges and you're able to resolve them. So it's a bit of a transition this month and you need to shake things out, Scorpio, and it can take a bit of effort on your part. It can also be pretty active and busy, but when you take the trouble to do this, things are going to work out. So they work out with people, the differences you might have with them, procedures or processes that you're following up on, and other sorts of communication. But definitely clearing the air and shaking things out a little bit is going to go a long way to help resolve them. So be active about this and be proactive and take initiative, Scorpio. Reach out, be in touch, do what you need to do, follow up, deal with the issues, and you'll find that you resolve them. So really, really nice cards. Now, in terms of context, it could be personal, where there could be an issue with someone, but you're able to resolve it. It could be, like we said, maybe there's something administrative, legal, or something procedural that you're working through. Again, follow through and you'll be able to resolve it. In terms of something like work, for example, there could be a problem at work or issues that come up with colleagues or customers or some other people in your environment. But again, you're able to resolve these issues. I think this a mind towards teamwork, having an optimistic attitude towards others is very much going to pay off. So focus on people and really focus on bringing out the issues in order to resolve them. So with this strong, optimistic attitude, Scorpio, you're definitely going to find answers and resolve them and clear the air and even come back on in a really beautiful space, because the flowers, sun and clover, are very bright. They're not just a little bright, they're really strongly positive. So I certainly hope you're able to work through these issues, Scorpio, to really deal with them and turn the page into a lovely outcome. And I hope that also you're feeling collaborative and able to reach out, because it looks like it's key to getting through this. Let me know how it goes. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Very best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in April. I have your April cards from your Astro Clock. These are a little bit challenging, but also they deliver release. So you see here we have the whip and then the dog and stork. The whip is a challenging card, but the stork is a card of change. And in between, we have the dog, which points to a person. So there can be some issues or challenges that you face with a person. But the thing about the stork is that you're able to overcome it. And really, the whip calls for clearing the air, bringing things out into the open so they can be clarified. It's also possible and likely, Sagittarius, that you part ways with a person and maybe they leave, you leave, or something falls through and you move on. The stork is healing in that it's a card of release. So it sounds like you're not going to be stuck with this. And it sounds like you're going to be able to move on and move forward pretty quickly. And that would also be the advice of the card. So with these cards aside, let's draw your portrait. And let's see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Sagittarius, look at these cards. They are so lovely. We have both the man and woman highlighting the focus on a relationship. And we have the key, sun, clover, three very bright cards. The tree and anchor are also really bright. In the middle, we have the fish. This is often a reference to money, business, finance, work by extension, and it tends to represent physical life and the practical side of your life. So it sounds like this is the focus. But I have to add that the fish in relationships is also quite nice because it's a card of attraction and it tends to represent a healthy physical connection. The tree is your cover card, and the tree is a card of well-being and peace. So that's a really nice message. Instead of being shaken by the issues that come up with the whip and dog, the tree endows you with a sense of peace. And I have to say, Sagittarius, that the tower and anchor are equally good with this. You are very stable, very strong. The fish with the clover, this would be great for money, great for financial health, blessings, and a sense of prosperity. They're also great cards in any other context. So they're great for wish fulfillment and goal achievement and a sense of growth in general. The man with the fish and key can suggest that this person brings a financial opportunity. Definitely the key opens doors and unlocks opportunities. And with the fish, it could be something business or financial. So that is likely at play. The tree with the anchor and key is lovely for finding solutions. This is a really nice line in view of the challenges here because they represent your commitment to finding the bottom line and to finding a solution. So in fact, these cards inform the triplet of the astro clock pretty well because whereas the stork points to this moving forward, the cards support this moving forward, but also brings it to a very positive conclusion. The tower, fish, and sun, this is lovely for long-term financial security. It's great for long-term success and general success. And it also suggests that your efforts over the longer term pay off. So you could see at this stage a sense of prosperity and a sense of well-being in general that results from your past effort. Here's a lovely card for a relationship combination, man, woman, and clover. Really beautiful. I think it speaks for itself pretty clearly. This is a very good connection. And obviously with the key, sun, and clover, there's a very positive outcome across the board. The tree, tower, and man point to a long-term relationship. It can be someone from the past, someone older, but there's definitely an element of longevity with both the tree and tower coming together here. I think this is a relationship that has long-term stability. It's a solid connection. So even if there were challenges, it's pretty clear, Scorpio, that you have a really good relationship here. So the idea of moving on from this relationship is not met with the portrait. Instead, it is more about clearing the air to move forward. The anchor, fish, and woman is great for financial success as well. Sort of similar to what we see in the second diagonal. We have the man with the fish, the woman with the fish. That's very similar. And then we have the fish and key and the fish and anchor. Both bring a successful resolution. And like we saw, this is the brightest line that brings all around success. Lovely cards across the board, Sagittarius. In terms of work, money, and prosperity, it's much more captured in the portrait than in the astro clock cards. In here, we just see the issue with the person, but here we see a full-blown picture around your financial prosperity, a sense of well-being, long-term success, solutions, success across the board. So a very exciting portrait. So this tells us that whatever challenges you deal with right now, Sagittarius, you're going to overcome them by and far, I would say. And so much so that you're like in another space. So they're kind of different. So it kind of moves you into a different space. And these are great cards for your work, your business, your financial well-being, and also for relationships. I have to wonder, Sagittarius, maybe you have a business partner or a collaborator with some kind of financial area in your life. Maybe this is what you have in common and you're working through some issues and you find wonderful solutions. They're also great cards for getting an offer, a customer, a collaboration, a job, your business prospering, your savings growing, getting the support for this and other practical areas of your life. What can I say? The cards are so bright. They're great with relationships. They're great with money. They're great with prosperity. They're great with your sense of stability, even with your health. So very abundant and very beautiful spread. I certainly hope this materializes for you, Sagittarius. Let me know in the comments how you resonated with these cards, what you feel they spoke to you, and what this issue was. I'd be very curious to know how they came together for you specifically, if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Capricorn, welcome to your monthly forecast. Here we are in April and I have your April cards. We have the Lily, Rider, and Fox from your Astro Clock. So Capricorn, these are more or less on the neutral side. These are very good for being productive, for being consistent, for getting things done. It looks like you are stable and in a routine and you know what you're doing, you know what you need to do, and things are pretty balanced. These are great cards also for getting the job done, for having stability at work. They're also good for taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, getting some good routines and a good discipline in place. The Rider is also a messenger card, so it can point to news. But if this is about news, and I don't think that's the main interpretation, but if it is about news, then it's looking good for jobs, for work, and also for getting things done. And it can be a card of initiative, but I think this just pours into the idea of you being disciplined and moving forward with your goals and objective in this consistent and predictable way. So it's very orderly, it's very organized, it's consistent, and it's predictable. So let's put these cards aside and let's see what else we get from your portrait about these three cards and other messages for your month. Okay, Capricorn, these bring up additional indications for your three Astro Clock cards, and there's a lot more happening here than with these three cards. Although they build nicely on each other, we have very clear messages of changes and travel. We have the Mountain, the Stork, the Ship, the Road, along with the Rider. These are all travel cards. We have the Coffin and Scythe and Snake, and these point to change. And the Stork can also point to change, as does the Road. So it's very clear here that you're moving. We have, with the Garden and Scythe, there is a change of location. And with the Scythe and Woman, you could be separating from someone. So it sounds like you're going places and maybe you're parting ways with this person. The Coffin, Scythe, and Mountain is very clear. The Coffin and Scythe is often the death combination, as they say. Of course, I don't read it this way, but it's quite a final message in terms of an ending. And having the Mountain on the other side of the Scythe is nice because you're able to break through blockages. So it sounds like it's time to make a radical change. And it's a little bit different from what we see here because these are more stable and these are very change-oriented. But the way they work together is that you could be setting up a different lifestyle. You could be moving and making changes in order to create the sense of orderliness and stability in your life. So Garden, Ship, and Mountain is another travel movement combination. You could be going places, traveling, exploring options, or you could be going to a place to settle there. And of course, if this isn't about physical travel for you, Capricorn, the cards are very supportive for changes in order to shake things up and create a more positive routine and create more stability and predictability in your life. And it looks like there are some obstacles that you need to overcome, so you need to work diligently to overcome them and create this space of comfort and predictability. Here's another one with the Stork, Scythe, and Road. This is definitely a change of direction. You could be moving, changing direction, or making changes to your environment. You could be canceling projects, again, making different choices, and moving in that direction that we see with the Road. And the Coffin with the Snake and Woman is parting ways with someone. It's usually the snake is challenging and it tends to point to disappointments. So maybe you are giving up on a person and moving on, but maybe you're also parting ways because you have to go separate ways. It's certainly T-crossing with this middle column. We have the Ship, Scythe, and Snake, and that is very similar to what we saw in the middle column, this change of direction. The Scythe and Snake can be a snake bite. It can point to something hurtful. So maybe there was a fallout with this person, or maybe not. Maybe it's just, again, really adding to this change of direction and this move. And I have to say, Capricorn, that the snake can be a transformation card because it has an element of wisdom and it sheds its skin. We see it with the Coffin, with the Stork, with the Road, with the Scythe. There's a lot of cards that bring up this element of change. So perhaps it could go deeper as well. With the garden, stork, and coffin, again, you could be moving, just like we saw with the ship, with the scythe. You could be moving locations, going places. And also, it's definitely a great message, Capricorn, for bringing things to completion, wrapping things up. And this is where these cards are very helpful, because you're going to keep doing what you need to do until you bring things to a close. And when you do, you could be really liberated. So it's definitely a good idea, Capricorn, not just to move and shake things up, improve things, renovate, clean up, declutter, and all of this good stuff. But it's also great to stay focused on your goals until you wrap things up, you close projects, you reach milestones, and you're able to move on to the next phase or the next stage. And the mountain with the road and woman is maybe moving away from this person, or maybe visiting this person. And the thing about the road with all of these cards is that you could be parting ways, which we saw a few times. But maybe there are different people in your life. You're leaving one, meeting another, and so on. These are possible as well. But I have to say, Capricorn, the cards are really loaded with change, travel, moves, clearing, cutting, and making different choices. There's a lot of these cards all concentrated in your portrait. And so these stable cards really create that sense of routine and discipline that enable you either to settle into this new change or do what you need to do in order to reach this point where you're able to change. So quite a month, I have to say. This could feel really loaded, really busy, very active, lots to do, a lot to take care of. And I think you're going to be really successful, not because we have these bright cards, we don't, but we have these really disciplined cards. So consistency is what wins at the end of the day, especially to bring yourself to this change or once you have made this change. And who this person is flexible, and the whole context is flexible. So it could be in your personal life, with a relationship, it could be on the job. I feel it affects your life as a whole because we have a lot of these change cards. So I think it affects your life as a whole. It could be a move, it could be big changes in your life. You let me know what you make of this, Capricorn. I certainly look forward to your thoughts about this and your feedback. Were there big changes? Were you moving? What were you doing? And how did your discipline and these consistent approaches help you through this? And also who this person was. It'd be interesting to know if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with the month, Capricorn. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your April forecast. We have your April cards from the Astro Clock, and these are the Anchor, Road, and Clouds. I have to say, Aquarius, this is a little bit challenging. When we have the clouds, it brings confusions and a sense of stress as well. And we see it with the road. So it looks like the path ahead this month is a little bit bumpy. Things might not be clear, and you could just be navigating your path and your affairs really without the clarity that you would like. At the same time, we have the anchor at the outset here, and the anchor is very much about sticking with things, staying put, and not changing. So this triplet encourages you to move ahead with your goals, with your stuff, the things that you need to do. Even if there are these issues in your way, remain committed, and you will be able to resolve things as you move forward. So it's important for you to have resolve and focus as much as possible so you can navigate these issues that come your way. So we're going to set these cards aside and we're going to draw your portrait cards to see what else we get about them and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Aquarius, here is your portrait, and these are lovely cards. We have the beautiful Sun, Clover, and Key, three of the brightest cards of the deck, and the Ship and Moon are also quite lovely. In the center, we have the woman, so this brings into focus a person, and who she is specifically is flexible. It depends on your unique situation, Aquarius. But obviously, there are some really good outcomes here, a really good vibe with this person, and just general progress and achievement. So this is really supportive of these three cards here, because these three cards can feel a bit negative and it feels like you're navigating without really knowing where you're heading. But the portrait is lovely, and it tells us that with your focus and your dedication and commitment, Aquarius, you're going to be able to pull through with a lot of success. So the key with the woman and sun is just a lovely triplet for this relationship. She could be a good friend or a good colleague, and you get along together really nicely. She could also be someone who offers opportunities or opens doors. The clover with the woman and road is similar. The clover is so lucky, and it brings really positive vibes. And with the road, you're pursuing this relationship. So again, who she is specifically is flexible. The key with the stork and road is great for activity and movement and changes. They're great cards for an opportunity that opens doors, that puts things into motion. You could also get the green light to move ahead with your projects. Maybe this is what you were waiting on with the clouds, that maybe your path wasn't clear, but we definitely see that it clarifies in this portrait. The ship with the woman and moon is lovely for engaging with this person. It can be personal, it can be business oriented or something else. It's flexible, but we're definitely seeing some really good vibes. You could also be going places together. We've got the road twice, the stork and ship, and the mountain potentially as a card of travel, because it tends to be associated with borders and places abroad. So you could be going places together. Maybe you get an invitation. She invites, you invite. These are lovely cards for getting together with this person. And the clover, mountain, and sun, another very beautiful message here with two very bright cards on either side of the mountain. The mountain is sometimes a card of blockages, and maybe this aligns with the clouds here. But it is, like I said, also a card of travel potentially. And certainly with these lovely cards, you overcome the challenges or you go places and you have a lot of fun. The key with the ship and clover is lovely for opening up an opportunity and a direction. You're definitely on the right track, and it's definitely going to lead to success. And also, I want to suggest, Aquarius, that you know how we saw the clouds in front of the road, so it's not really clear where you're heading? Well, the clover can suggest that you give it a chance. So maybe take a bit of a leap of faith here and move ahead with this project, because clearly it's looking really positive. I guess you can always change your mind if it doesn't turn out to be what you want it to be, but I think with a bit of patience and focus, it should work out really nicely. The stork and mountain can mean traveling, or this person is traveling, but certainly you're picking up the activity together and maybe going places. And again, if there are obstacles, which there can be, they're very much resolved. And here's a very lovely line. The moon and sun often represents love because of the archetypal connection with the masculine and feminine. So they can symbolically represent a love relationship. And if it's not a love relationship, it's great for a connection. And in all cases, they are very positive cards. And with the road, we see this beautiful path, which we see twice in your cards, opening up. And it's a lovely connection, a lot of fun as well, and success. So really nice cards, Aquarius, and a beautiful portrait in light of the somewhat challenging clouds here. Again, the key is to stay committed and to be willing to see through what appears to be challenges. It seems that maybe initially you see them as big challenges, but then they're quickly downsized, and there's a beautiful opening here, lots of opportunities, a great relationship, and a lot of fun and activity, maybe going places, even traveling. So in terms of context, the cards are flexible. If it's work related, it could be a great collaboration, a great customer, a colleague, or maybe it's a project that's not work related and you have a lot of fun with your colleagues in this, your peers. Great for a personal relationship. Maybe you weren't sure if it was going to pick up or how things are moving forward. But clearly there's a really good connection here. It doesn't have to be love. It can be, but it could be friendship. It could be in another context of your life, like family, or really any other person. So lovely cards, Aquarius. I certainly hope they resonate with you in this positive way. Leave me a comment or two. Let me know how it played out for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Best of luck with the month. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your April forecast. We have your April cards from your Astro Clock, and these are quite exciting. We have the Tower, Flowers, and Ship. And the flowers is a card of return and renewals. With the Tower, it could be a place from the past, and the ship can mean that you're going to a place from the past. So you could be traveling to a place from the past. That's possible. It can also mean that you are on your way to wonderful things. These are great cards for long-term success and also for a sense of creativity and productivity in alignment with your long-term goals. So this long-term vision, the long view, is in focus, but also working towards it. And it looks exciting and happy because the flowers is a very happy and bubbly card. So these are lovely cards. We're going to set them aside and we're going to draw your portrait to see what else we get about these three and what other messages we get for your month. Okay, Pisces, here is your portrait, and it's a bit more challenging. Well, it has challenging cards, unlike the Astro Clock cards, but we are seeing a lot of activity, and I think it's going to be really busy. I really think you're moving, making changes, going places, and I think you're going to be really busy with that. It's going to keep you really active. Now, the snake as your cover card is interesting in contrast with the louder cards here. It is a card of silence and secrecy, and so I would suggest, Pisces, that you keep your plans to yourself, at least for the most part, or with most people. And also, it's a really good card for focusing on strategy. Now, with the Letter and Rider, there's definitely news, and this can come through. It probably kicks things off. It probably kicks off this journey, as we're going to see here, a lot of changes as well. And so it's exciting news. The Clouds with the Letter and Tree is also great because the Letter and Tree often suggests news or information or feedback that grows into something really lovely. Earlier, with the Clouds, you could be wondering about it or having doubts. So there's a very similar structure between the two diagonals where the snake and clouds are sort of similar. You know, they're inward. You're thinking about this, you're waiting on it, and then we see the news kicking in. So there's definitely news, communication, collaboration, exchanges that set things into motion. Now, the snake with the mountain and tree, you could be navigating around obstacles, and you could also be planting seeds in another location. And you have certain goals here, but you have to be patient with them because there's a bit of a roundabout way to achieve them. So you have to sort of be patient until you get to your destination or you're able to move forward. So there's a bit of a roundabout way here. The Book and Letter is very important news by itself, and the Whip can be quite challenging. So it can be disappointing news, but I also feel that it's urgent news. And we see that things pick up and you have to move forward. I also think that you could be changing directions, canceling, making choices, because you got this news and feedback coming in. And I think there could be an opportunity that rocks the boat. So you might be planning on something, but something else works out, and then you have to change or adapt and respond to this. So it feels pretty urgent as well. Now, the Clouds with the Coffin and Rider, this is definitely a waiting phase, but also an ending. So you're waiting on the action, you're waiting on the news, and also there's an ending. And this is connected with this move and these changes. So it could be quite a transitional month for you, Pisces, with a lot of changes, news coming in, needing to respond, feeling urgent. It's a lot. It can feel like a lot, but it's very exciting at the end of the day. The snake with the Book and Clouds, this could be doubts, and you could be wondering about how to strategize, how to make your plans. You could also be, we could also tie the book with the middle row here. And so you could also be thinking of turning down an offer or making a decision. So you have a lot of things to think about, and there's a lot of planning. And I think there's a lot on your mind as well, Pisces. The Mountain with the Letter and Coffin clearly points to an ending. I feel you could maybe resign, or you could say no, or say that you're leaving from whatever circumstance that you're in right now. And then we've got the Tree, Whip, and Rider, which definitely kicks things into high gear with the Whip and Rider moving things quickly. So very much in contrast with the Tree, where you're waiting and settled, and then you get the green light and you're able to move ahead, again with that sense of urgency. So it's quite an active month, Pisces. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of planning, thinking, doing, getting the news, working on it, following up, making decisions, making choices. And then we see your beautiful astro clock cards here that point to this traveling bit. And the ship being a card of movement and travel, it works nicely with this coffin being an ending, and the rider being a movement card, and the mountain often being associated with travel as well. So whether this is physical travel or changes that you're going through, Pisces, you're going to be on the right track, but I have to say that the transition is a bit messy, and there could be a lot going on and a lot of things on your mind that you need to organize and respond to in order to move ahead with these with this lovely project here, or this lovely trip. So brace yourself for a bit of a rocky month until you're on the other side of this, Pisces. Do what you need to do. Try to plan as much as possible so that maybe it's not all coming together in one go, and be ready to be quick and to roll with the punches. So let me know how this plays out, Pisces. I certainly look forward to learning about what context this could be figuring for you. I feel it affects your life in a general way. I feel it has to do with your foundations and where you stand, but it could also apply in a specific area of your life. Well, maybe let's take an example before we close. So for example, the common one, in terms of jobs, you could get an opportunity here and you could move and resign. Like I was suggesting, you get this wonderful opportunity. Now you're able to make a change. I think you could receive pushback. Maybe that's to be expected, but yeah, you're gonna have to make this change. I'm not seeing so much the relationship aspect. I'm not seeing one-on-one. We're seeing the letter, and that's a card of news and communication, but I'm not really seeing the one-on-one aspect. If it is, I think there are changes, and you could be releasing yourself from a relationship. So again, a busy month, very active. I think a little bit messy, Pisces, with a lot going on and a lot to plan and think about and process and respond to. But soon enough, you're on the other side of this, and you're going to be aligned with this lovely path that delivers wonderful things for your long-term objectives. Let me know how this plays out. Really interesting set of cards here. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. So very best of luck with the month. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.